everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio and welcome to my Christmas in July series. So for this entire week, starting yesterday, I will be doing Christmas projects. So if those of you that like to get a head start, or those of us that make our cards a little bit too Hi everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio and welcome to my Christmas in July week. All of this week, I started yesterday, I will be doing Christmas projects for you. So I have taken some suggestions and then along with for things to use. So if I had it and you suggested early enough, then it probably is going to make an appearance. There were a couple of things that people asked to see and I don't have them, and there's no way to get them in time now. Today on this card, I do have when I made a different card, I should have pulled it over here. I made a nativity card a couple of weeks ago and somebody asked if you could do something different with it. So I did do that on that. And when I get to that point, I'll point it out. And then later on in the week, I will show you all of the Christmas things that I've made so far out of this catalog, including ones in the series. So if you miss one, you'll be able to see it. Make sure you're on my email list because every day I'll be sending an email with a link to the tutorial for that day. I'm doing a giveaway if you purchase during my Christmas in July week. Any purchase at all, and you go into a drawing to win the pomegranate stamp set from Celebration. So that will ship with your thank you gift. I do thank you gifts every single month with the host code, and I do have an online class coming up, registration for. Those of you that are in Card Club, all of your stuff has gone out. I know you got the tracking, and I have the videos done. They're just not totally edited. My camera, I needed to do a software update on my phone, and my camera was being super funky. So I had to record part of it twice because the sound cut out, and that very rarely happens on my thing. So that will post today. So if you're watching this, go check your email because by the time this is up, you should have your club instructions. And then if you're interested in joining my card club, it's an online card club. It's a subscription service. I will have a card at the end of Christmas in July that is the preview for the August club. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a beautiful stamp set. So today I'm going to use the Light to Glow suite. I am going to use several elements from this suite. So it's super pretty. I do not have this part. And somebody asked to see how these dies worked. I didn't buy this part because when I bought this, it was for my Try It class and I really needed the dies. So those of you in Try It class got either the tree or the snowflake punched out, and you'll see the tree today in this super beautiful glimmer specialty paper. And I have been using it a lot. The vanilla piece made an appearance on yesterday's card. And then in Card Club, in the Try It class, you got to see all of the rest of this. But today I'm going to use the Light to Glow Designer Series paper, which I have also used. I'm going to use the ribbon, the festive pearls, and then the Christmas lights bundle. So it's a super simple card. So it doesn't look like it's simple. And if you don't know how to stamp, people aren't going to know that it's simple. But I'm going to use the Christmas lights stamp set. And then this doesn't have any words in it. This is my go-to stamp set for Christmas cards this year, the Hope and Peace. Love the fonts, love the greetings. There's enough in it that will get you through the whole season. If you have like the penguins or the Santa set, those have words in them. This is a little bit fancy for those, but for most of your Christmas cards, this set will work. So let's get going. The card doesn't take very long at all. So let's start with the beautiful stamp set. So I have a piece of vanilla, and I am going to stamp an Evening Evergreen. Well, let's do the other one first. I'm going to stamp in Soft Seafoam just to make the inside of our card pretty, because this card is going to go on Evening Evergreen cardstock, which is a darker cardstock. So it's sometimes, unless you have a gold pen, which is always fun to do at Christmas, it can be hard to sign it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this on the inside. So it's very, very pale and subtle. If I was doing a lot of these, I would put that stamp in my Stamparatus, and I would put this next one in my Stamparatus because it would make it a lot easier to bulk do them. And this one just says Merry Christmas. So there's the inside of our card, super simple. And then this is the part, somebody when I did my nativity card asked if you could stamp the nativity on the gold paper. So this card, I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So I'm going to have my stuff ready. I'm going to stamp with the Evening Evergreen, and you could use Versamark or you could really use any color, but this was laying here and I wanted to see if this worked. but you don't have a lot of time. So you would have to do these one at a time. If you want to do several of them and emboss several of them at a time, then use your Versamark. So I have the Emmanuel God is With Us stamp out of that same stamp set. I'm going to grab my tweezers. And then I have black embossing powder. I tried it in the gold. You could see it. Like if you sent it to somebody, they can see it because it looks like it's just gold raised up embossed on. It was really kind of pretty. It would work better for the nativity scene. So maybe you'll see that later this week. It was kind of hard to read in the words, so I got my black embossing powder. So just have that on there. And you can see that stuck fine, even though I was doing the just a classic ink. Make sure you get all of the extra off. And then I'm just going to heat this with my heat tool. And just make sure you have it everywhere. You could also stamp the Merry Christmas on the inside of the card so they match. That looks pretty good. I love this paper. This is my favorite new paper. And then you can just put all this back. I'm not going to do it on the video, but this is the new embossing kit that is in the, it's part of the pumpkin suite, whatever that one's called, but you can just buy it on its own. So that's all the actual stamping. So now I'm going to take the die. I'm going to use the Christmas tree. You could use the snowflake. You could do half and half. And then I'm going to use, well, let's do this part first. So I have my evening evergreen. A little bit of embossing powder left on it. And then this is the Designer Series paper. So it's 6 by 6. And so if you cut 4, then you're not going to get as many pieces. There's a ton of pieces. You can mix and match the colors. But this one I wanted to get 2 out of 1. I like the other side too. So this is cut 5 1/2 after I did it. And I needed the little scrap. I probably should have done 5 1/4, which is the more standard size. Maybe on this one, I'll swap it the other way just so we can see what that looks like. Because see, these trees are mostly here. And I'm going to put a tree in the center, which is going to cover them. So let's just move this over here. So this is cut 3. And I don't need Seal Plus. I don't know why I pulled that one out. But this is cut 3 by 5 1/2. And then this is a piece of the evergreen glimmer paper out of the same suite, and it is cut 1 by 5 1/2. That's why I pulled this out, because this adheres better with the seal. So just give them both a little bit of a border. And that's beautiful just on its own. Now this tree, there are some trees on here that if you lay this on here, there's a couple of full ones. You could cut it out. There's not a full one on this. I think it's the one in the center. But you can make such pretty dies with this that you don't need to cut that paper out. Just let the paper be beautiful. I do have a couple of videos where I walked through the paper so you can see it all. I was trying to get today's video to be a little faster. I've done some long ones because I did the Art of Stamping series, and those were some longer videos. So I want to show you that all my videos don't last forever. This is the gold glimmer out of that same assorted pack. So you have the option, how I stamped the inside with the tree. You could stamp it the inside and cut it out. You could stamp and emboss the inside and cut it out. But that is what this, the big one does. And then this middle one is going to pop out all of our beautiful Christmas lights. It lines up straight. It doesn't have to be straight because nobody's going to know. And who puts your lights on your tree straight anyways? So for Try It class, we did several hundred of these. Lots and lots and lots of these. And we just did one pass. And they came out fine. You just had to poke. And poking one isn't bad. But if you're making these if you're going to make 5 or 10 of these, 20, then you don't want to poke them all. So just roll it back and forth 3 times. Then I'm going to use I have 2 Take Your Pick tools. Everybody should have 2 because there's so many tips on them. But my other one's downstairs. So, if you just want to get this piece and not have a stick on it, it still works. I prefer it the other way, but I'm going to use the Guppy one in a minute to pick up my pearls because I'm putting a lot of pearls on this card. But my other one we just finished Card Club over the weekend, and we got it out, and it's all recorded, and everything's done. But we do all the cutting downstairs, and that stuff hasn't been carried back up. So my other one of these is downstairs to poke out dies. So you can see how pretty that is. If you just layer it on a piece of plain colored cardstock, then it looks like the lights pop. So now we have that. This is almost done. So let's put our inside in before I forget to do that. And because I'm using Seal Plus, it just takes a little bit to hold this piece in here. This was cut 4 by 5. I wanted more of a border, so it looked like the inside. Then let's take this piece here. And there are enough places on it that you can put 3 dimensionals easily without them showing through any of the dots. Because if you put one on top of the punched out holes, then it's going to look like the white light, or perhaps like your gold light has burned out, because we've all been there, done that with a Christmas tree. Hey, my husband spends a whole day. Well, we always get like a 12-foot tree, so it's giant, it's live, but he spends the whole entire day putting lights on because he does it around the branches. I would be drapey like this if it was just me. So stick this on here. And then we have the little piece that, oh no, did I lose it? Here it is. So we have this little piece, which was, because this is 6 by 6, I cut this 5 1/2. So this is a little 1/2 inch of cardstock, which is plenty. But if you want a little bit more, then do these 5 1/4. Then we have this, and I am just going to hand trim it. I know that scares some of you. Don't let it scare you. There's a lot going on this card. Nobody's going to tell if it's crooked. You can put it in your paper trimmer if you want. I just find sometimes these little ones are a bit tricky to hold in there. And it's easier to stamp and emboss this if you have a large piece. So I would rather cut it. And you can see these are scraps from the end. You can tell by the way that they're cut that they were scraps. So once you have it, in fact, having it a little bit crooked is better than trying to get all of it straight and then 3 sides are perfect and 1 is off. Then it will look a little more crooked. But when you put it on here with all the other stuff. So now we have this little bit of the bokeh lights on this side. And a couple of pieces of this, which will hold it easily because the Seal Plus sticks like crazy. So I just have 2. And then I'm going to also add some dimensionals, so it's going to be stuck. So we have this. Now I'm going to take, this is the ribbon out of the suite. I was going to use different ribbon. I thought I'd go with what's in the suite. And this is, I cut way too many of these for my Try It class, like 40 too many. So I have lots of these cut in this length. So I'm going to keep using it. It was on yesterday's holly card for the exact same reason. So now you're going to take your seal. Actually, if you have a little spot, now this one's getting big enough that I do have a spot. You can do it with regular seal as well. This will hold it a little bit better. So put some seal there. If you don't like to tie bows and you don't want to tie them on all your Christmas cards, then this is perfect. So make 1 loop. You can see when you use your adhesives on this slippy stuff, it doesn't stick to anything. Because, you know, sometimes we do it on the scrap paper that's laying on our work area, and by the time we're done, our scrap is sticking to everything. So we have this, and then just take this and bunch it. So it gives a nice little floof of ribbon without having to tie bows. And I want it to go on this side. And the Seal Plus is especially good for this, and it is stuck there. So I'm going to just make sure this is coming out over here. Just like that. And then to make sure that it holds it again, I will just get a dimensional right on top of the ribbon. Okay, I'm gonna have to press a little hard, but once it's on the card, it will work itself down. And then again, I'm gonna put 3 on here because that gold paper and then the designer series paper, neither of them are thick. If it was cardstock, you could get away with 2, but we don't want anybody to get their Christmas card a little bent up. So if you're a demonstrator and you're coming to Indianapolis for Onstage, make sure you go over and check out my Facebook page because we are going to have an event on the Friday before. So a fun little stamping event. We're working out the details so we can get registration open now. And then members of my team, if you're on my team or you join in July, then you get a free try it class. You get the free planner from Stampin' Up, which is fabulous. So you get tons of benefits. I do have a video. I'll have it pop up now above this video. But on Sunday, then we're having a team event as well. So we're going to make a weekend of it. I really wanted to go to Vienna. So I'm going to use the Guppy end. This one really needs to have a new one on there. I've been using it a lot recently. So these are the festive pearls that come in the suite. So let's stick a red one up here. And then because the red is kind of the only pop of color that this card's going to get, I'm going to do 3. And then there is green. So let's add some green. I'll do 3 of those too because it's a little bit of pop of color. And just randomly put them like they would be on a Christmas tree. Here's the silver. And then gold. If I need to add, I'm going to add one more silver. I told you I was going to use a lot. That's why I used this thing and not my sticky thing. This could use a dimensional right there. I think over time it would lay okay, but you know, I need to take a picture for you guys to put on the website and I don't have time for it to start to lay down. There we go. Super simple. You could use, like, the colors will all match. So the glimmer paper will match, all of the designer series paper will match, and everything's going to match the gold. And then the festive pearls match because it's all in the same suite. So don't think that all your trees have to be this color, because see, I did these. So you could easily swap this with the gold or with the vanilla that's in it. Equally pretty, just do it on a different piece of paper. And maybe at the end of this week, I'll show you the stack of stuff that never makes it to video because I always have a lot of it. But here it is going the other way, and both of them look fine. But both times I chose that the bulk of my trees would not get covered up. And if I flipped them, then we would have, like, this piece would be showing, and it's harder to tell that it's a tree. So there you go. Join me back here tomorrow for another Christmas in July. And make sure you go to my website and there's a pop-up there so you can join my email. And remember, if you order this week, then you go into the drawing for that pomegranate and check out my free thank you gifts while you're there. Have a great one. Bye.